Welcome back to the dojo, everybody, and welcome back to another 10-minute Tuesday. I'm your host, Matt Lear, and the season is fast approaching, and I want to throw a challenge out to some of you hunters who haven't gone out of state yet. I'm going to list 5 states that I think you should try out, and these states are affordable. They're close to one of us, wherever you're at in the country, unless you're in the far west. But if you're anywhere in the Midwest or on the East Coast, you could probably reach one of these states within 5 to 8 hours. And it really isn't as complicated as you might think it is. And so I'm going to break that down because I want others to experience what I've experienced out traveling this country hunting whitetail deer. And just to be honest, like I'm not always successful. I mean, last year, I think I filled one tag out of 3 that I went to. So I did eat some tag soup, but I don't regret going to those other states. It was a ton of fun. And that's what this is all about, really, is just continuing to have fun, challenging ourselves with different terrain. It will make you a better hunter. It will get you outside of your box that you may be in and just get your mind moving. So I want to really encourage you to do this. And here's the facts. It's way more affordable than you think it is. And even if you only go for 4 days, you're going to experience something and come back home. And I bet next year you're going to go again. So let's dive into it. The first state that I'm suggesting that people go to is Indiana. And Indiana is around $240 for the hunting license. There is state land throughout the entire state. Down south are your chances at your bigger bucks, but deer density is lower and you're in more hilly terrain. You can go up towards the middle of the state and northern parts of the state, and you're definitely in broken up ag country with some rolling hills. It's a ton of fun. There's swamp there, and there are big bucks throughout the entire state. Very easy to get to and just a ton of fun to hunt. I go just about every year. The next state up is Missouri. I went to Missouri in 2020. The tag price for Missouri, I believe, is $276.50. You're going to want to verify all my prices, by the way, but and that's a 2 deer license. You want to look at the regs. You can get your first buck before the rifle season, and then the second buck has to come after the rifle season. So if you're close by, you can hit that state 2 times. Again, a lot of different terrain throughout the state, and it varies from broken up ag to rolling hills, and it's a ton of fun there. Great management of their public land, and they also open up early, so you can go to Missouri, I believe, around the 15th of September. Again, always check what I'm saying, but the way they manage their public land and the food plots that they have on it is just really second to none out of almost all of the states that I've been to. I highly suggest Missouri. I will tell you this, the northeastern corner, at least when I was there, was hit pretty hard. I think everybody wants to get close to Iowa. So you want to do your research and try to find some public land away from some of the bigger cities. And also do not overlook the archery only spots. They're a little bit smaller, but I'm telling you, they're overlooked and good hunting. The next spot up is Wisconsin. So Wisconsin is known for having the biggest bucks taken on, at least book bucks. And it is a higher hunter density state, and parts of that state are extremely difficult to hunt. You can just pull up some of Dan Inflo's videos and learn about that. But what I love about Wisconsin is your first time buyer's tag is only $95. So if you're talking about affordability and you're somewhere around, the Wisconsin area, if you can get there within 8 hours for $95, you can be hunting out of state. And I'm telling you, it's just a ton of fun. Next up is Ohio. I think everybody knows about Ohio. Big buck state, more towards down the southeastern area. Lot of steep hills, and in the northern parts you have more broken ag, but northern parts aren't known for as good of hunting. You're looking at $258 for a tag there. So they do open towards the end of September, so you can get in there a few days before maybe some of those October states open up. But big bucks, I do think it will test your skills and stretch you, a lot. But again, great out of state hunting adventure for a very affordable price. And the fact is, they have some monsters there. The last state we're going to talk about is Kentucky. Kentucky is known for having, big deer. And what's awesome about Kentucky is they open up in September. I think it might be around the September 1 time period. Tag there is 335 and good amount of public land. And again, the terrain changes from all over. You could be hunting mountainous type of terrain all the way down to agriculture and even like some flood bottom flatlands in certain areas. So Kentucky is another great option for adventure. So I also want to go over some of the lodging options you have. Obviously, that's, a big price point. If you go with a group, I mean, I'm going to Nebraska this year. We're staying for, I believe, 7 or 8 days, and we found an amazing Airbnb. It even has a butchering room with a hook and all stainless steel and a walk-in freezer. There's 4 of us going, and it's costing us 175 each to go. So very affordable, has air conditioning, has all the amenities that you want. So if you go with a group, that's one way to do it. I went solo for many, many years, and I just slept in the back of my vehicle, honestly. And you don't have to have an elaborate system. I mean, if you go back and listen to some of my podcast here, you'll hear about how, me and a few other guys have done it, and we've kind of built these systems. But when I first did it, I slept in the back of my Jeep Cherokee with a sleeping blanket and a pad on the ground and shoved everything else back there. And it did everything I needed it to do. And so you can go very affordable that way. Once in a while in these small towns, you can still find a older motel for around, $75 or so. But I think your best bet if you're going the affordable route is either taking a tent and staying at a campground or sleeping in the back of your vehicle. I always stayed at campground still when I did that, but I know guys who just kind of pull over on the side of the road. In Missouri, you can actually camp right on the public land, but in other states you can't do that. So you have to just look at your regs. The point is, there's very affordable ways to do it. Just go out and do it. You can go on any budget, really. If you think of Wisconsin, $95 for your first tag, what, $150 for gas, depending how far you are. So that's $250. Pack all your lunches. It's another, if you go for 5 days, you can do it for around $75. So now you're at 325, put another 125 for staying at a campground. So for $500, you can go for a week and hunt out of state. So obviously finding public land, we all know the secret to that. There's nothing new there. You can pull up Onyx or, Spartan Forge, whatever you use, and find public land. Time period to go. I like to go when I first started going out of state around that rut time. Now it's going to be busier. Don't sleep on the last week of October. It's not as busy, and yet the bucks are still moving. I keep it simple. Get downwind of a thicket and find a scrape and some rubs, and that will verify that bucks are traveling through there or have traveled through there in the past. Try to get your eyes on some doe or some deer droppings and sit downwind of that, or find yourself a pinch. There's a million podcasts on how to hunt the rut. You can figure it out. Use the same tactics you use at home as far as, what we all look for during that time period, but your odds are going to be best then. So that is it. I mean, really, you can see that it is affordable. There are 5 states that you can go to. You can get this done. Get out and do it. Like, if this is your first year, you haven't gone out, do it now. Don't wait. Don't plan it. Because I did that for 10 years. I kept saying, hey, one day we're going to go out of state. One day we're going to go out of state. And I missed out on some of the most rich hunting and fun adventures I've ever had. So that's it for this episode of 10 Minute Tuesday. We'll be back next week. Don't forget, we have the YouTube channel with some stuff going on over there. You're not going to want to miss those videos. And then we interview a whitetail master on Thursday. You can find that wherever you find podcasts. And until we see you again, embrace the journey.